y'all, welcome and welcome back. If you're new here, let me just take a second and tell you a little bit about this channel because I'd love to have you here if this sounds fun to you. So obviously we read scary stories that have been sent in to me, and if you have any that you'd like for me to read, please check out the description below for that email and more details for when you send them in. We also talk about scary movies, Appalachian folklore, my own creepy paranormal experiences, and we're going to be talking about scary books here soon, so it's going to be a blast and I would love to have you. Obviously I'm on YouTube. You can also find me on TikTok, Instagram, and Patreon, and all of that will be linked below as well. So check out the description. It's going to be your lifeline to all things spooky involving me. But now that we got that out of the way, let's get into today's video, which is reading scary stories that have been sent in to me by you. So get cozy and turn on a light because the last like 4 videos I filmed of like stories that have been sent in to me have been terrifying, nightmare-inducing rides, okay? Turn on a light. Hi Morgan and Eric, you can call me Jenny and I'm from Brazil. I'm sorry if I ramble a lot in this or if it's too long or if my English is bad. To start, my family is very Catholic, so my entire life I've been surrounded by religious stuff. But sometimes scary things would happen. This story is not that scary or long, but I have others that freaked me out. If you want, I can send them to you some other time. Please. For context, there's tall walls all around my house, like taller than 7 feet. So this one time when me and my family had recently moved into the house that we still live in, I was 5 or 6 at the time and hanging out with my mom in the front yard at night. Well, I look over to the side on top of the wall and there's this shadow of a little boy waving at me. He had no face and looked to be about my age. By the way, there was literally no way a boy as small as me could be hanging around on top of that wall. He could have climbed or something, but still. Look, Mom, there's a little boy on the wall, I told my mom, thinking nothing of it. Her being very religious told me not to say those things, and I never saw him again. I saw it in such a clear way that to this day I can see him in my mind. I love your videos and your cats, especially the big old chunky one with white paws that looks like mittens. Oh, you mean Art? He's not down here, I'd put him in the camera. But I do have a cat beside of me that I will show in his place. Thank you for saying hello, I appreciate it. She bit me very hard. Alright, story number 2. Hey Morgan, I love your videos so much. My name is Zoe and I live in Illinois. I hope my story makes it to YouTube. You're here! The story took place when I was in 8th grade. I was coming back from a basketball game I cheered at. I was a junior high cheerleader for our local basketball team. I expected my mother to be up when I got home because she usually was. I just arrived home and knocked on the door for my mom to let me in as usual, and the door was locked, so I waited. Finally, I call out, "Mom?" and the door was suddenly unlocked. Mom opened it, right? No. There was no one on the other side of that door. My mom was fast asleep in bed where she had been. This experience is still something I cannot explain to this day. If there's any way you can help me make sense of this, that would be great. Love you. I love you. So if nothing else happened, I wouldn't worry too much about it, but it just seems like something was just messing with you, just trying to get your attention, maybe trying to scare you. I don't think there was any malice behind it, but it is creepy. But I'm curious to know if anything else happened because then that's something we need to talk about. All right, story number 3. Hi Morgan, my name's Ashley, and I'm sorry I keep emailing you, but I had another story that happened at the farm. Never apologize for sending me multiple stories. Anyways, I wanted to send you a picture, a little backstory. My aunt had her house built on my pawpaw's farm. Now the scratches you see, I personally don't believe are from an animal. She had a dog, but this dog was old and never went upstairs. Upstairs is a loft and it's a hangout area. It's open and has a type of balcony look to facing the living room, if that makes sense. Her house is pretty big and is the only place that has scratches. They're deep in person. I'm going to read you the dad's story. We live in an old coal camp in West Virginia, which is where my grandpa's farm is located. My dad was in his early 20s when this happened and he lived there on the farm at the time. My dad got off work late and it was, I want to say, around midnight, and for some reason he had to leave his truck parked at the edge of the bridge. He said he was walking across it and heard something. He looked out into the trees and saw a dark figure staring back at him with glowing red eyes. He took off running and said that he never looked behind him but could hear it chasing him, branches breaking. Then he fell into the mud hole and called out to God, and whatever it was disappeared. Now when I go up there, I avoid looking into the trees. I know that it's not a long story, but it definitely gave me chills whenever I thought about it. I have a lot of stories about those woods, and I truly believe the mountains are haunted. I have so many more stories that people and myself have experienced down here and a couple more places. I like to adventure. Please send me all of the stories. All right, story number 4. Hey Morgan, this is my second time writing a story to you, and this is from the perspective of my mom. So my mom's grandma, my great-grandma, had a brother who died in a car accident on a bench near my grandma's house. This detail is so important. And my mom had just started training as a dental nurse. A side note is that the city that this took place in, a tiny Victorian town called Hamilton, every so often there was a really bad fog where you couldn't even see your hand in front of you. One of these bad foggy days, my mom had to drive to work. She didn't want to because of the fog, but she was too scared to lose her job, so she drove. On her way to work, she was driving through the fog when all of a sudden she had a gut feeling, turn that steering wheel to the left and pull over. So she pulled over. Not 5 seconds later, a giant semi came speeding down the lane my mom was driving in. If she hadn't moved, the semi would have hit her. The even creepier thing was that when this happened on the bin that my great-grandmother's brother passed on. Oh, that's so sweet and so sad. Oh my God. I think he saved her. Oh. Alright, let's read one more story. Tonight I had a group of friends tell me a terrifying story. We live in the Midwest, Iowa to be exact, and we are from a small town. Our town has a tower that was made back in the 1800s, and it's made of limestone, and it's 3 stories. My friends were there tonight, around when it was getting dark, and when they were at the top of the tower, a car pulled up and 2 college-age girls came out. Everyone was on the 3rd floor of this tower until the girls went back down to the ground level. One of my friends said that she saw a human being walk through the woods nearby. The group went down and the 2 girls were in the tower. Being teens, a few of them ran to the car pretending to be scared, but my friend who told me this said that she saw something move out of the corner of her eye. She actually ran for the car. When they were all in it, they tried shutting one of the doors as they heard a loud crack in the woods, tree branches snapping under something large. They panicked and finally got the door shut and drove away. My main friend had also been playing with a Ouija board. She and her friend took their fingers off of the planchette before saying goodbye. She told me that they're now being followed by something, but I'm not sure if that's true. I told them to cleanse themselves and the main rules of not looking out the window at night, whistling, ignoring things, and main rules that I know. Is there anything else that I can do for them? It was a group of 4 teens and they have little to no information about these kinds of things. Thank you for reading. Do you think you're a parrot? So something at the end of that story that I didn't read was the name of what they think is following them, and they said it was a demon and the letters were AZA. There's no demon by that name. There's one that's close to that, but I don't think he would be messing. What I do think happened, since it was involving a Ouija board, is the entity whose name I will not say, but it starts with a Z. I have done countless videos on him. I have encountered him so many times. He is a pain in my existence, but I can link everything. And if it is him, I feel for everyone because he is relentless and it's horrific. But anyways, that is all for today. Again, I'm so sorry it was so short, but I will see you guys again next week.